Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today my wife convinced me to try one of those nasal pore strips, and so, looking like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I sit down to watch Sora Kuma playing as the Vikings in blue take on Doubt playing as the Bulgarians in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Why don't we take a look at the Civ match and then the map that we're on that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Vikings are primarily an infantry civilization. Starting in Feudal Age, all of their infantry units get 20% more HP and can be upgraded to get an attack boost against cavalry, which may be a little problematic for our Bulgarian. Now, this boost also benefits their first unique unit, the Berserker. This is a durable, well-armored, strong infantry unit whose health automatically regenerates at a rate of 40 HP per minute. Now, the Berserker, like all infantry units, or I should say most infantry units, does generally move slowly on the battlefield. So, what's going on here? Bit of a techno-goat situation happening here. So to support their infantry on the battlefield, Viking archer line units can be upgraded to get a small +1 attack boost. Now, to help the Vikings afford their military endeavors out on the map, their economy is on steroids. They get the wheelbarrow and handcart upgrades for free, which means they hit Feudal Age and Castle Age absolutely get ready to run amok. Now, their infantry, which already come with a few cool features I mentioned, can be upgraded even more to earn gold every time they kill villagers, monks, and trade units. Now, taking a look at the southern portion of the map, we've got Doubt playing as the Bulgarians, what I would call a cost-cutting civilization. Their militia line units upgrade automatically and free of charge. Think the Turks and their scouts, light cav hussars. Exact same thing for the Bulgarians, except with their militia line units. Their blacksmith, their siege workshop upgrades cost less food. Their blacksmiths work almost twice as fast as normal, and their town centers cost 50% less stone, which is great because the Bulgarians can focus their stone expenditure on their unique structure, the Krepost. Think of the Krepost as a mini castle similar to the Sicilian donjon, except it's more expensive, but also comes with more HP, higher attack, and more armor. It does provide 20 population space like a castle, and it can only be built starting in Castle Age, unlike the donjon, which can be built starting in Feudal. Now, once you've saved your resources, you can invest them in building a pretty powerful army. Even though the Bulgarians don't get champions, they can upgrade their two-handed swordsmen to be incredibly tanky with a huge +5 melee armor boost, and they can turn their cavalry Japanese by upgrading them to attack 33% faster, which is absolutely amazing when you take into account that this upgrade affects their unique unit, the Conic. This is a 2-for unit, a 2-for-1 unit that starts out as a tanky, powerful, flail-wielding cavalryman that transforms into a less tanky, but overall still very powerful infantry unit when he gets knocked off his horse. Those are the two units. I don't know why I emphasize the word horse so much. I guess I really am in an equestrian frame of mind here. We'll see. Sora Kuma already starting to wall off the northern portion of his base, or maybe at least creating a funnel. And let's zoom out. As you can see, we are on X marks the spot 4 lakes, so named because there are 4 lakes, each in the north, east, south, and west portions of the map. Now, I think we've already established that there's about 5,000 food or so in this. I don't know if I'm clicking fish or seagulls here, but yeah, there's generally about 5,000 food, give or take a few hundred. Not going to get bogged down in the specifics here. But let's take a look at the starting positions because they're fairly close to one another with a few forests in between. Primary gold for our Viking, very exposed to the front. Primary gold for our Bulgarian, nice and secure to the back. And Doubt also has a big forest, medium-sized forest. Sora Kuma has the same thing, but there's a little bit of a thin part here. Just a single cypress tree stands in the way of any kind of forest cutting. And I love, by the way, look at Sora Kuma. He does not want any kind of shenanigans on his lake. Although, as the Viking, you probably would want to invite some shenanigans on the lake. In case I didn't mention, and I'm pretty sure I didn't mention, Viking docks do cost 15% less wood. Their warships get progressively cheaper as the game goes on. And if we're lucky enough to see the longboat, man oh man, is that a Chu Canoe on the water. An absolute insane unit. Amazing bonus against ships, buildings, and can also, like their archers, be upgraded to get a +1 attack boost. So I don't know that Sora Kuma necessarily wants to shy away from any kind of naval engagements. Maybe not at home. You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe defensively, you don't really want to take the battle on your side of the map, but aggressive? Why the hell not? Doubt has discovered where his opponent is. Has Sorokuma seen where his opponent is? No, he has not even ventured anywhere away. I mean, his scout is still here, being a little unused, just hanging out in front of the town center. Not exactly the Vietnamese here with a bonus that allows you to see where your opponents are. And okay, Doubt 25 seconds away from Feudal is already moving forward. Oh, looks like he wanted to cut down that Cypress, thought better of it. Now doing a bit of a U-turn with these villagers, 9 seconds away. What is he waiting for? If you're going to tower drop, then go right ahead and tower drop. Maybe he's waiting for a scout. Maybe he's waiting for his militia, which automatically, as we just saw, turn into men-at-arms. He wants a bit of defense here. Now, Sorokuma will see this tower with this one very luckily placed palisade wall. I mean, he could have put it something here instead, but look at Doubt distracting him all over here, not realizing perhaps. I mean, he knows that there's this palisade wall, so he knows that Sorokuma should have vision of this tower. Sorokuma immediately puts down his own tower with about 3.5 times more villagers and a backup wall off as well. So our Taiwanese player is playing incredibly defensive, as one really should play against Doubt. Doubt, kind of known to be incredibly aggressive, as we're seeing right in front of our very eyes. If he could, believe me, Doubt would already have a dock here on Sorokuma's lake. I love, by the way, that Sorokuma's Jack and Lumber over here, it allows his villagers to have easy and quicker access to this part of the map. And now a stone wall going up, a third wall off. He really does not want any kind of shenanigans out of our Bulgarian. And FYI, take a look at the top left of your screen. Wheelbarrow already lit up for our Bulgarian. Nuh-uh. Archery range at the 12-minute mark. Let's see what he's got back home behind this. Absolutely nothing. A barracks, a dock. Nothing else quite yet. I see 2 lumber camps, just like our Viking has. And our Viking, even to the north, begins secondary wall-offs. I mean, this is just about as careful as you can be right now. The only thing more careful than this would be if he started mining the gold to the back and not to the front. And down goes the Bulgarian tower. That is 125 stone that he is not getting back. Might want to ungarrison these 4 villagers, get back to work. So far, a pretty damn good defense here out of our Viking. He does have 2 villagers on stone to the 0 of his opponent. He does finally move out of his base. Finally, I mean, at the 13-minute mark, he's just now discovering where his opponent is. As a scout runs by a spearman, runs by a scout, runs by a villager. We've got a Bulgarian villager here. What does she want to do? Does he have... Or sorry, a Viking villager. Oh no, how did this happen? Is this not fully walled in? Oh, goodness gracious. So, I mean, Sorokuma plans and Age of Empires laughs, right? I mean, this is, you can plan all the live long day, but somehow 2 of these infantry units have gotten behind enemy lines. They're not really doing too much here. It looks like the villagers will be enough to kill them, but the archers... Did the archers get the kill? No, it must have been the men-at-arms. We have 3 kills to 1 for our Viking, who secures his base. Wall-offs of all kinds. We've got palisades, we've got houses, we've got stone walls, we've got houses over here. He is mining the backwards gold. Okay, so Sorokuma, I would love to see this player on a map like Black Forest or Arena or Fortress. Somebody this defensive-minded. I should say against Doubt. I don't know necessarily that he's defensive-minded in all of his games, but against Doubt, for sure, for now, he is being incredibly defensive, sending 2 villagers. They are on attack mode. They drop their baskets for a second. They pick up their knives, and they move forward. And look at this. He's laming the dock. He's got a galley out already. Our Viking. Remember, these warships for him do become progressively cheaper as the game begins and goes on and on and on. But 1 spearman does bite the dust. Let's see what our Bulgarian is doing. He's getting a market. I see some construction happening. A stable. There's his blacksmith, his archery range. Very few resources here for our Bulgarian, our cost-cutting savings civilization that I was raving about. But he is already... Oh, that's why he's got few resources. He queued up he queued up Castle Age behind some villagers, so I didn't see it. And now he goes up to castle. A nice little battle here. Not too sure who got the better end of that trade. Some skirmishers, some archers, some villagers being thrown into the mix. I mean, Dowd is just building infrastructure everywhere. Look at this. Look at the minimap. There is no rhyme. There is no reason. There is nothing to make sense of any of this right now, except to say he's keeping his villagers busy. And honestly, when you're playing an opponent who is incredibly defensive, building all this kind of infrastructure, you have to assume that if Sorokuma passes by these structures, he's going to want to destroy them, which is going to take time, which is going to take away from his attack, and which is going to give Dowd very much like an Age of Empires radar system, the ability to see an attack coming his way. And look at this, Sorokuma, I love it, putting down an outpost. He needs some kind of defensive mechanism here to protect these berries if he's going to take the food here. Our Viking still needs a little bit of food, still needs a little bit of gold, perhaps went a little too heavy on some of his military with these archer units. No, but he's got the resources now, and he is heading up to castle. Unfortunately for him, in 10 seconds, Dowd is going to be in Castle Age as well. So Dowd's taking the lake to the east. He's taking the lake to the south. Sorokuma is taking the west and the north. I don't know if this got deleted or destroyed, but it is no longer here. The Bulgarian dock. And our Bulgarian is going night play. Sorokuma might want to close off this base a little bit. So his army is taking care of the forward Bulgarian position. His army count is double his opponent, but it's not going to be double very good quality units. Going to be basic feudal age stuff against castle stuff, to not put too fine a point on it, as a siege workshop gets plopped down here to the bottom right of our screen. Dowd investing in cavalry upgrades against the Viking who has the chieftain upgrade, which will allow him to have an amazing +5 attack boost. Now that is an expensive upgrade. I don't think he's going to be able to afford it with only this few villagers here. 8 mining gold to the back. You need a lot more. It costs over 1,000 resources to get that upgrade. Oh, look at this. Sorokuma completely walled in. Oh, he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. The Italian pine. Don't get betrayed by the Italian pine. No, you don't want 2 lumberjacks opening a route here. And look at this, Dowd's back. He is back. He is literally trying to contest the water against the Vikings. Loses both of his villagers. There's 2 galleys, 3 galleys, sorry. I didn't see the third one. And what is he training out of here? Fire ships. Okay. So we'll see how that works out for him as he tries to bust in. And here is a defensive Viking castle. Is it the greatest location? I don't know. Might have been a little bit better forward, I want to say. But it doesn't really matter. Archers are here. Sorokuma desperately creating a path for these knights to follow, and follow they do. Oh, it's the oh my god, this is castle 93, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go up, but it's gonna go up without murder holes. And a berserker is being trained. I mean, Sorokuma does almost have the resources to get chieftain. 600 food, 450 gold. He just needs a bit more gold. Sell your wood. And if you get that upgrade, +5 attack bonus against these knights for any of your infantry, I mean, that's going to be amazing. That's just going to be absolutely difficult for our Bulgarian to contend with. As 1 Viking, 2 Viking berserkers lead a band of feudal age army units forward. They have drank their special drink. They have done whatever drugs they used to do before going into battle to absolutely drive them insane and berserk, as their name suggests. And now they are taking on knights. They do ultimately die, but you know what? Not terrible. Look at the HP on these knights. They are a weak cold away from being able to, from dying, basically. There's a lot more naval action to the north of the map. What is this blue dot here? What is happening here? What is going on with Age of Empires lately? Teleporting units, twitching units, suicidal units that want to jump off the edge of the map. It looks like, uh-oh, our Bulgarian has laid claim to the northern lake. Monks, the natural predator of the knight, is en route, or rather a monk is en route. Okay, but on the whole, our Viking is safe. Unfortunately for him, his economy has taken an absolute beating. Doubt has killed 12 villagers. He's down 15 villagers, despite having handcart to Doubt's nothing. Doubt doesn't even have wheelbarrow. So if Sorakuma can keep this smaller but more efficient economy alive, he might still be in this. Despite the score at the bottom right of your screen suggesting that he's down 30%, he's now got a second town center up. Doubt built a second town center. Don't ask me why here. There's a gold patch over here. There's gold and stone and wood over here. You must have seen this part of the map. No, he has not. Okay, so that's why it's not there. Let's take a look at what's going on around the map as more and more of these fire ships. Doesn't look like it, but this ship is actually attacking this dock, even though you can't see the animation of the ship. And for time number 2, our Bulgarian has penetrated the Viking base. Attack round a little too premature. Another one gets nothing. Sorakuma should be able to get a mangonel now. Does get it. His mangonel should have gotten a little bit clipped there. Yeah. So a converted knight kills his former mangonel as the other mangonel kills the other mangonel. And now we've got one mangonel apiece. And I'm going to stop saying that word. More and more knights do stream in. Berserker count is at a low 2. Almost at a 1. I mean, wow, what an insane unit. And Sorakuma, all of a sudden, safe for a third time, but is he really? Uh-oh. Deletes his own house. Mangonel moves forward. Doubt trying to place a castle after which he is named, and he loses 3 knights to conversions. I mean, he is being incredibly headstrong here, is our Bulgarian, with no fewer than 2 more town centers going up. Now, unlike the Britons who get a wood discount, the Bulgarians, as I mentioned, get a stone discount. So he is free to plop these guys down. He's got 363 stone, which means he's got enough stone for 7 more town centers, 8 now, or at least a Krepost. Let's see a Krepost. And look at this. Sorakuma's down 14 villagers, but again, he's got handcart. Doubt doesn't have even wheelbarrow. So who's ahead economically? I'm really curious to see at the end of the game. I assume our Bulgarian's ahead, but I can't really imagine it's that much ahead. Sorakuma moves out, dipping his toe into the water. Again, the very, very play of a cautious player. Or the play of a very, very cautious player. I think I put the very, very in the wrong part of that sentence. And Doubt in firm control of 3 lakes as he now engages into these villagers' castle. 91, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, definitely going up. I mean, you've got an incredibly aggressive player taking on an incredibly defensive player. And so far, the defensive player, again, despite the score, actually, now the score is only 10% apart, where it used to be 30. Can he finally take his gold? Does he feel comfortable enough to take his primary gold? The answer apparently is no. What is he training? He's going eco at the moment. More fishing ships, more villagers. But look at Doubt. The lead now is 24 fishing ships and villagers. And we've got our first Conic trained right here at the bottom of our screen. This 2-for-1 unit. Okay, never mind. He pops back in. Okay. Pop in, pop out. Arson for our Viking. He really wants to go infantry. So what's going to be the attack bonus against buildings of a Berserker now? 4. Okay, discovers the Krepos with a bit of a move out from these knights. Another town center, exactly where I thought the second one should go. So 5 town centers for our Bulgarian. Now taking a little bit of damage off from the Krepos, not the end of the world. You got monks here. You're a Berserker, so you automatically regenerate HP. Sorakuma continues to train villagers, continues to train fishing ships. Doubt is only training villagers, but he is going up to Imperial. Imperial without a castle, but 600 stone. Husbandry as well. Now, if you're going the route, where are you guys? If you're going the route of the Conic, one thing you'll notice about the Conic, let's follow along on the journey as they try to defend against these knights. One thing you'll notice about the Conic is their attack speed is absolutely terrible. It's a 2-for-1 unit, decent stats, but then you look at the attack speed, 2.4 second delay between attack compared to the, what, 1.8 of a knight. And so when you go Conic, you very much as the Bulgarian need to get the stirrup upgrade, which, like I said, turns their cavalry Japanese by cutting that 2.4 into 2/3 of that. Now, stirrup is not an expensive upgrade, unlike Chieftain. 400 food, 200 gold. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten it yet. Maybe he just wanted to rush his butt up to Castle Age, or rather Imperial Age. Oh, Castle attempted, Castle denied, placed over here. He wants a Trebuchet, and all of a sudden, now there is a clock on Sorokuma. He has two options, not including tapping out, which is always a third option. Double down in Castle Age, or start running amok with your economy and try to get your butt up to Imperial. Now, he could technically do both. He's got enough blocking structures here that Doubt's going to take a while to get to his center, or his settlements center. But our Bulgarian mixes in some scouts here, does manage to get all of the monks, gets the Viking, get the Berserkers rather, gets the Mangonel as well. But again, does he have stirrup? No, he does not. What he does have finally is handcart. Villager on villager action here. If only Doubt turned around and fought this villager, he would win. Battering ram, clearing up. This is what I'm talking about. When you're playing against a defensive player, man, does it stick in their what is the expression? Stuck in their craw? Stick in their craw that they need to get rid of these small offensively placed structures, even if it's something as silly as a house. There is literally no reason for Sorokuma to use his battering ram to attack that house except the mentality of a defensive player. And so that's why this game is so fascinating. At this point, we've got a bunch of Berserkers, no upgrades at all. Oh my god, I didn't even notice. Sorokuma looks like he's gathering the resources to go to Imperial, but the Treb's already here. His second castles are going to fall. His third is going up right underneath our very eyes. But look at the army count, 26 Berserkers. And there's Chieftains. Okay, so now things are going to look very bad for our Bulgarian, who still doesn't have stirrups, but he's going up to Elite Conic. Looks like this blue villager did manage to kill the red villager. What happened there? Ooh, whose villager survived? And who placed this random stone wall? Must have been that second incursion when he was trying to plop down that castle. I mean, Sorokuma has denied 2 castles so far this game, and this is what I'm talking about. Doubt, even though he went up to Imperial first, there is a bit of a delay now because Sorokuma is putting vital infrastructure in his way. Castles, town centers, barracks, military infrastructures. Whereas this... Okay, now the battering ram is just hanging out underneath the trees here. Okay. And here we go. Here we go. Let's see that +5 attack. I mean, you can never discount the Conic, because even when he falls off his horse, he does turn into an infantry unit with a big flail. And oh no, Sorokuma took a terrible first engagement. Not underneath the castle, but now he's fighting underneath the castle. Castle's on the high ground. Oh no, but oh my god, the Conics. The Conics did a much better job against those Berserkers than I thought they would. We're gonna... What? Okay, Sorokuma decides to tap out after taking an absolutely terrible engagement. And this is, again, the mentality of a very, very defensive player. I've seen this. I've been this. I know people who are this. Let's take a look at that last engagement, because I thought the Berserkers would do a whole lot better than this. They attack finally. Oh my god, he's got forging. Okay. They attack on a 13 against 5. That's crazy. 5 melee armor. So 8 damage plus on top of that cavalry 5. So 13. Okay. So basically nullifying the armor. So 13 attack against the unit that has 140 HP, which means 11 swipes of the Viking battle axe in order to kill a Conic. The Conic on his part is elite. 16 attack against, we saw, absolutely terrible armor. 2 armor. So 14 damage to a unit that has 65 HP. So what is that? 28, 56, 5 attacks to the 11. But 5 attacks to the 11 when you attack 2.4. I'm assuming infantry is just the usual 2. There you go. He needs, I guess he didn't need it, but yeah, there it is. Okay, now he's getting stirrups. But I honestly thought, let's take a look at the actual numbers. 20, double the Berserker count. HP is identical. So you think the Berserkers, now this 1836 HP does not factor in the Conics when they get dismounted. So that's where the 2-for-1 power comes in here. So Sorokuma, I don't know why, takes a battle, even though there's a castle right here, takes a battle away from the castle. And when he decides to disengage, has already lost 8 Berserkers. Conics are still around. Now, a few of them are dismounted. Actually, are there even more Conics now? Okay, he added a few Conics we didn't see. HP on the Conics, 100 more. So not the end of the world, especially not when you've got a castle here about to fire on them. An extra Berserker, a converted Conic, an extra Berserker. So 2 more Berserkers making their way forward. And then Sorokuma does the worst thing possible. I mean, besides taking a battle here, you see this? You're literally 2 tiles away from the high ground. You should have gone to the high ground. Who knows if the Conics would have followed? I mean, it's doubt. They probably will have followed, especially with Blast Furnace en route and Stirrups done in 5 seconds. You know he would have followed you. But Sorokuma chooses to take an engagement away from the high ground where he would have done 25% more damage and taken 25% less damage. And now the Conics have Stirrup. Their attack speed has gone down to 1.8, so they're at the night level attack. And at this point, I mean, the HPs are still fairly similar. He uses his converted Conic to try to get the Trebs. The castle is adding a lot of DPS here. But at the end of the day, the monk needs to get his butt to convert here. He does not. And all the Conics, the mounted ones, died. But this is where the 2-for-1 status of the unit plays in. Reinforcements come in. But you're 2-for-1. Now all of a sudden, look, you've got a 50 HP unit with pretty decent stats. 3 melee armor, 15 attack. I mean, that's better than the Berserker, 12 attack, 2 melee armor. I mean, the HP is not great compared to the Berserker, but 1 terrible engage, 2nd terrible engage, literally could have used that high ground several tiles away. And even though there's a lot of action, a lot of little dots all across the map. Actually, no, there's not a lot of action. It's just a bunch of outposts, which I love out of Sorokuma. Look at this, sending out feelers out into the map. But I guess he realized, hey, my opponent's an Imperial. He's got Trebs. He's destroyed my first castle, destroyed my town center. Now he's coming after my second castle. And I just lost a massive battle here. And even though I've got 800 gold, I mean, how many villagers on food did he have before this? 41 on food. I think he could have held the line a little bit longer, perhaps, had he taken a better engagement here. If the original stats was, what was it, 28 to 14 or 15, something like that, if they had fought here and Dowd had taken the fight from the low ground, which who knows if he would have, but let's assume he had, that fight would have gone very differently for him. Very, very differently for him. And the Berserker basically costs as much as a champion. It's 65 food, 25 gold, so a little bit more. But he's got 41 villagers on food. He's got an economy that's untouched. He's got fishing ships, fishing traps. And so I think he could have kept pumping out some units, perhaps added in some infantry here. Doesn't look like he added any of them, but Sorokuma just playing catch-up economically most of the game. Let's see how far the economies were at the end of the day, because that was just, again, an incredibly aggressive player taking on an incredibly defensive player, but a few mistakes, or not mistakes, but a few interesting moves out of both players. 51 Viking Berserkers, 25/50 Conics, because remember, it's a 2-for-1 unit. PKPM not bad in the middle of the game. PKPM right in the beginning of the game, queuing villagers, scouting, clicking the goats and stuff. And at the end of the day, the economy is about, what is that, 6,500? So just under 20% bigger economy for our Bulgarian, which is just, yeah, you can't have that. Not with a more powerful cavalry civilization. Wood, basically identical. Food, a little bit more for our Bulgarian. Gold, oh mama, more than double the gold, even though he's Relic Gold playing no role in that. And the stone count identical here. Conversion 7 out of 81 is pretty damn good. That's like 8% of the army converted here by our Viking, and it's pretty good units. It was knights, conics, things like that, not villagers. Raisings 12, 10. So pretty much both of them destroying each other's infrastructure. But whereas Sorokuma focused his battering ram on a house, Dowd focused his siege on town center, castle, and now another castle. So a very interesting game here, like I said, between a strong, I mean, this is like that law of physics. You've got an unstoppable force, meaning an immovable object. I guess in this particular case, the immovable object moved, which I guess nullifies the whole point of that thought experiment. But ultimately, Dowd just everywhere on the map, gobbling up relics, gobbling up resources, double the gold. I mean, interesting that he got the same amount of stone despite having 18 villagers on stone to the... Okay, 13 is not bad either. Okay, so Sorokuma obviously wanted to go berserkers. He's continuing to get stone. He wants another 100. Will he get it? No. Actually, no, he will. Oh my God. Even if he mines this out, he'll be 10 stone short unless these guys are carrying stone. Yeah, they're carrying stone. Okay, so once he mines this out, he'll have enough stone for one more castle if he doesn't repair this one. And to be honest, against 2 trebuchets, I don't know that you necessarily need to repair this one that earnestly. It's on the high ground. It's only 2 trebs. It's got 4,800 HP. It'll last a little bit longer. Focus on maybe building another castle, start pumping out your berserkers. But ultimately, the unstoppable force moved the immovable object Doubt with the bigger economy, Doubt with a more powerful army, and Sorokuma with just the unfortunate final engagement here. He just taps out. This again, the mentality of an incredibly defensive player that when you lose a big battle like this, even though he's got 750 wood, he can plop down a few more barracks. He's got a good amount of gold, ultimately decides to tap out, lives to fight another day. It is Doubt, our Bulgarian, who takes the W, but GG in a very fun game to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.